Hi, passionate Rangers FC fans. Welcome to Rangers Update, your dedicated source for all things Rangers. Before we dive in, we want to express our gratitude for your unwavering support. If you bleed blue, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and let's strengthen our community. Now, let's get into the latest updates. A hearty welcome to our new followers. Your backing means the world to us. WATP, let's get to the news. The atmosphere around Rangers has taken a dark and deeply unsettling turn, and what once looked like a season filled with promise has now spiraled into a storm of whispers, doubts, and outright embarrassment. Supporters are in disbelief as rumors swirl that Dany Ro, a figure who was meant to bring structure and discipline, has reportedly reached breaking point. Sources close to the dressing room suggest that tensions had been quietly building for weeks, with performances on the pitch reflecting a squad completely disconnected from its leadership. The word circulating is humiliation, not just in terms of results, but in the way the club has seemingly lost its identity. Röhl, known for his composed demeanor, is said to have grown increasingly frustrated behind the scenes, watching what he allegedly described as a lack of commitment from both players and decision-makers above him. The dressing room, once united, now feels fractured, with murmurs of disagreement and finger-pointing becoming impossible to ignore. For a club of Rangers' stature, this is not just a rough patch. It feels like a full-blown crisis unfolding in real time, leaving fans questioning how things have deteriorated so dramatically. What truly stunned everyone, however, was the explosive nature of Röhl's supposed resignation request. According to growing speculation, this was not a quiet exit negotiated behind closed doors, but rather a moment charged with emotion, frustration, and words that many are already calling shameful. It is said that Röhl didn't just ask to leave. He delivered a message that cut deeply into the core of the club, allegedly labeling the squad as weak and the leadership as directionless. Such claims, if true, paint a picture of a manager who felt completely abandoned in his role, forced to shoulder responsibility without the backing required to succeed. Fans have taken to social media in droves, debating whether Röhl's comments were brutally honest or wildly unprofessional. But one thing is certain, the damage has already been done. The narrative has shifted from poor performances to internal collapse, and that is far harder to recover from. Even those who defended the manager now find themselves conflicted, unsure whether to admire his candor or condemn the manner in which it was delivered. Inside the club, the alleged reaction has been nothing short of chaotic. Executives are reportedly scrambling to control the fallout, aware that such public tension can have lasting consequences not just on the team's morale, but on its reputation across the footballing world. There is talk of emergency meetings, urgent discussions, and attempts to calm a dressing room that appears to be on the verge of imploding. Players, meanwhile, are said to be stunned by the accusations, with some reportedly feeling betrayed by a manager they believed in, while others are quietly acknowledging that there may be truth in his harsh assessment. This divide only deepens the sense of instability, as trust erodes and uncertainty takes over. For Rangers, a club built on pride and resilience, this moment feels like a complete reversal of those values. Instead of unity, there is fragmentation. Instead of strength, there is vulnerability. And instead of clarity, there is confusion about what comes next and who will be responsible for steering the club back on course. Adding fuel to the fire is the perception that the board has been out of touch with the realities on the pitch. Critics have long argued that decisions made at the top have failed to align with the needs of the squad, and Röhl's alleged outburst seems to echo those concerns in the most dramatic way possible. The idea that a manager would publicly question the competence of his own hierarchy is almost unheard of at this level, which is why the story has captured so much attention. It suggests a breakdown not just in communication, but in fundamental trust between different layers of the organization. Supporters, already frustrated by inconsistent performances, now feel vindicated in their criticism of the board, seeing Röhl's words as confirmation of what they have suspected all along. Yet at the same time, there is unease about how such a situation was allowed to escalate to this point. Could this have been prevented? Or was it inevitable given the underlying issues that have been simmering beneath the surface for so long? As the rumors continue to spread, former players and pundits have begun weighing in, each offering their own interpretation of the unfolding drama. Some argue that Röhl's alleged comments, while harsh, reflect a reality that many insiders have been reluctant to acknowledge publicly. Others believe that regardless of the circumstances, a manager has a duty to maintain professionalism, and that airing grievances in such a manner only serves to weaken the club further. This debate has become a focal point of discussion, highlighting the complex nature of leadership in modern football. Is honesty always the best policy, even when it risks causing harm? Or should discretion take precedence, especially in times of crisis? For Rangers, these questions are not theoretical. They are playing out in real time, with tangible consequences for everyone involved. The situation has become a cautionary tale about what happens when pressure, expectation, and internal conflict collide. Meanwhile, the fans remain at the heart of this unfolding saga, their emotions swinging between anger, disappointment, and disbelief. Many feel let down not just by the team's performances, but by the apparent dysfunction within the club they hold so dear. The idea that their manager might walk away while criticizing the very institution he was meant to lead is difficult to process, and it raises deeper concerns about the direction Rangers are heading. Chants that once echoed with pride are now tinged with frustration, as supporters demand answers and accountability. Yet amid the turmoil, there is also a sense of resilience, a determination to see the club overcome this crisis and emerge stronger. Whether that will be possible remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. This is a defining moment for Rangers, one that will shape its future for years to come, regardless of how the situation ultimately unfolds. As the dust begins to settle, the second wave of speculation is even more intense, focusing not just on what happened, but on what comes next for Rangers and everyone involved in this shocking episode. There is growing talk that Röhl's departure, if confirmed, could trigger a complete overhaul within the club, from the coaching staff to key figures in the dressing room. Insiders suggest that this might be seen as an opportunity to reset, to rebuild from the ground up after what many are calling one of the most embarrassing chapters in recent memory. Yet such a process is never simple, especially when trust has been so severely damaged. Potential replacements are already being discussed in whispers, but any new manager would be stepping into an environment filled with tension, expectation, and scrutiny. It is not just about tactics or results. It is about restoring belief, something that has clearly been shaken to its core. The challenge ahead is immense, and there are no guarantees of success. For the players, this moment represents a crossroads that could define their careers at the club. The alleged criticism from Röhl has put them under an intense spotlight, forcing them to confront questions about their commitment, mentality, and ability to perform under pressure. Some may see this as a chance to prove their doubters wrong, to respond with determination and resilience. Others, however, might struggle under the weight of expectation, particularly if the dressing room remains divided. There is also the possibility of departures, with rumors suggesting that certain individuals could be moved on as part of a broader restructuring effort. Such changes would not only alter the dynamics of the squad, but also send a clear message about the standards expected moving forward. For a team accused of weakness, the response in the coming weeks will be crucial in shaping how they are perceived both internally and externally. The board, too, finds itself under unprecedented pressure, facing criticism from all sides as they attempt to navigate this crisis. Supporters are demanding transparency and accountability, while analysts question whether the leadership has the vision and capability to guide the club through such turbulent times. Röhl's alleged comments have amplified these concerns, turning what might have been a manageable situation into a full-blown controversy. There is speculation that internal reviews are already underway, examining not just recent decisions, but the overall direction of the club. This could lead to significant changes at the highest level, particularly if confidence continues to erode. For those in charge, the stakes could not be higher, as their actions in this moment will be judged not just by immediate outcomes, but by the long-term impact on Rangers' identity and reputation. Beyond the immediate fallout, there is a broader narrative taking shape, one that speaks to the challenges faced by modern football clubs in maintaining stability and cohesion. Rangers' situation is being analyzed as a case study in how quickly things can unravel when communication breaks down and expectations are not met. Röhl's alleged outburst, whether justified or not, has become a symbol of that breakdown, highlighting the fragile balance between leadership and accountability. It serves as a reminder that success in football is not just about talent or tactics, but about relationships, trust, and a shared sense of purpose. When those elements are compromised, even the most established institutions can find themselves in crisis. For observers across the sport, this is a story that resonates far beyond one club, offering lessons that others would do well to heed. Amid all the uncertainty, there is also a sense that this could be a turning point, a moment that forces Rangers to confront its weaknesses and emerge stronger. History is filled with examples of clubs that have faced adversity and used it as a catalyst for transformation. The question now is whether Rangers can do the same, or whether this episode will leave lasting scars that hinder progress for years to come. Much will depend on how the situation is handled in the coming days and weeks, from the appointment of a new manager to the way the squad responds on and off the pitch. It is a delicate process, one that requires careful planning, clear communication, and a commitment to rebuilding trust at every level of the organization. For the supporters, the journey ahead is likely to be an emotional one, filled with moments of hope and frustration in equal measure. Their loyalty will be tested as they watch their club navigate one of its most challenging periods in recent memory. Yet if there is one constant in football, it is the resilience of fans, their unwavering belief in the identity and spirit of their team. Rangers' story is far from over, and while this chapter may be marked by controversy and speculation, it also holds the potential for renewal. Whether that potential is realized will depend on the choices made in the aftermath of this crisis, choices that will shape not just the immediate future, but the legacy of everyone involved in this extraordinary and deeply unsettling saga. And just when it seemed like the storm could not possibly grow any stronger, new whispers began to surface suggesting that the situation inside Rangers may be even more fractured than initially believed. There are now murmurings that certain senior figures within the squad had already lost confidence in Röhl long before his alleged outburst, creating an invisible divide that only widened as results failed to meet expectations. This raises an uncomfortable question about whether the manager's words were truly a sudden explosion, or simply the breaking point of a relationship that had been deteriorating for quite some time. Some insiders claim that training sessions had become increasingly tense, with disagreements over tactics, effort, and accountability spilling into the open. If that is indeed the case, then the image of a united club was nothing more than an illusion, masking a deeper dysfunction that was bound to erupt eventually. For supporters, this adds another layer of frustration, as it suggests that the warning signs were there all along, ignored or dismissed until it was far too late to contain the damage. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. At the same time, there is growing speculation that Röhl's alleged message was not just directed at the players and board, but also at the culture surrounding the club as a whole. Some reports hint that he felt there was a lack of hunger, a complacency that had settled in despite the high expectations that come with representing Rangers. This idea has sparked fierce debate among fans and pundits alike, with some agreeing that the club has lost a certain edge, while others see it as an unfair and overly harsh assessment. Nevertheless, the notion that a manager would question the mentality of an entire institution is deeply unsettling, as it touches on something far more fundamental than tactics or form. It suggests a crisis of identity, a disconnect between what the club believes itself to be and what it is actually showing on the pitch. If that perception continues to gain traction, it could have long-lasting implications, affecting not just current performances, but the club's ability to attract and retain talent in the future. Meanwhile, attention has also turned to how this situation is being perceived beyond the immediate circle of Rangers. Across the footballing world, there is a sense of disbelief that a club of such stature could find itself embroiled in such public turmoil. Rival supporters have been quick to mock the situation, amplifying the sense of humiliation that already hangs over the club like a heavy cloud. Media outlets are dissecting every detail, every rumor, every alleged comment, turning the story into a spectacle that extends far beyond the pitch. For Rangers, this external pressure only adds to the internal strain, creating an environment where every move is scrutinized and every decision is questioned. It is a harsh reminder of the realities of modern football, where reputation can be just as important as results, and where a single crisis can redefine how a club is viewed on the global stage. Rebuilding that image will require not just improvement on the pitch, but a concerted effort to restore credibility and trust. In the end, what makes this entire saga so compelling is not just the drama itself, but the uncertainty that surrounds it. There are still so many unanswered questions, so many conflicting accounts, that it is difficult to separate fact from speculation. Was Röhl justified in his alleged criticism, or did he cross a line that should never be crossed? Are the players truly as divided as some reports suggest, or is the situation being exaggerated by outside voices? And perhaps most importantly, can Rangers recover from this moment, or will it mark the beginning of a deeper decline? These are the questions that continue to fuel discussion, keeping fans and observers alike on edge as they wait for the next development. One thing is certain, however, this is not a story that will fade quietly into the background. It has all the elements of a defining chapter, one that will be remembered and debated for years to come, regardless of how it ultimately unfolds. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.